In this video, I'm going to look into whether or not Shopify is still the correct choice for you and your brand in 2021. And I'm going to explore the 5 biggest drawbacks that some people claim are the reasons you should avoid the platform. So, if you're watching this, you almost certainly have some kind of understanding of what Shopify is, but in case you weren't aware, Shopify have a very nice summary on their website. Shopify is a subscription-based software that allows anyone to set up an online store and sell their products. They also add a little bit more fluff by saying the following. Shopify is a commerce platform that offers a way to quickly launch your dream business and start selling to customers wherever they are. And to be completely honest, they're not wrong. One more quote from the site. Whether you need to get a simple store up and running today, or you want to go under the hood yourself and build a unique shopping experience, Shopify is built to be versatile and to grow with you. Once again, pretty accurate. Like, I could literally end the video here by just saying all of that's 100% true, and while no online business is as easy as hitting a magic button to pump out money, Shopify makes it pretty much as easy as it can be. And this actually touches on a really big problem that has skewed how a lot of people see Shopify. Thanks to things like the explosion of dropshipping and just the e-commerce boom in general, some people have had so much success with Shopify that for the most part is accredited to their own business, but because Shopify makes it so easy to run that business, they scream about Shopify from the rooftops, and rightly so. It is an incredible platform, but it's created this misconception that you can go out, put minimal effort into creating a website and immediately be churning out money. And it's simply not true. Any online business, in fact any business, is gonna be challenging to start and scale. And while it might be easier for someone with years of experience in the field and a boatload of cash to play around with, even starting out fresh with a different product offering in a different market is gonna present unique challenges. What Shopify does so well is massively reduce the barrier to entry for the average Joe, like me, to take a product or service and turn it into a multi-million-pound business. It's happening more and more often, even if that person has had no prior online experience with regards to selling anything. I shouldn't come this close to the camera really, because it's very hot in here. There's a light right there and I'm probably a little bit sweaty, but if you hadn't already guessed, I am a huge fan of Shopify. And while this video is gonna dive into a lot of the reasons why some people say you should avoid the platform entirely, I'm first going to run through a number of the things that Shopify does so well. So firstly, it is incredibly intuitive to set up. While you can spend forever getting down to the nitty-gritty of your site, realistically, even a complete novice could set one up in no time, especially given the huge amount of online help and tutorials that's out there ready for you to consume. There are a crazy amount of mobile-ready themes just waiting for you to choose and customize. And while the back end of the platform looks pretty much the same for every user and can't be changed, which trust me is a good thing, the customer facing side of every theme has amazing possibilities with regards to how you want it to look and operate. And if you are that way inclined, you can dive into the liquid code and just get super creative. Shopify handles all that scary security stuff that you really don't want to think about. When selling online, you're dealing with customers' confidential data. And thankfully, Shopify takes care of all of those things related to security and encryption, which makes your life way less stressful, or at least allows you to get stressed about all the other stuff. There are over 1,500 Shopify approved apps to choose from. While you probably could take a store to 7 figures without ever touching a single app, there are a multitude out there catering to everything you can think of and more. These will not only help you get there in a fraction of the time, but also make the whole journey so much smoother for you and your customer. Built into the system, Shopify offers a host of additional benefits ranging from email marketing services, gift cards, and even cart abandonment to help stop your customers walking away from their purchases. Shopify claims to have the internet's best converting checkout. And not only does it offer the ability to integrate with dozens of payment gateways ranging from PayPal to Klarna to Bitcoin, but it also offers its own gateway built on Stripe called ShopPay. The funny thing about the Shopify checkout is it's one of the few areas that store owners don't really get much flexibility to customize because, to put it politely, Shopify does not want you fucking with that. Because of this, once you become familiar with what a Shopify checkout looks like, you begin to see it everywhere and you realize how many massive stores use the platform. And here's a couple of crazy facts. Shopify Shopify recently reported there are now over 1 million businesses around the world running their stores through Shopify. And if 1 million stores doesn't sound that crazy to you, then listen to this. Last year in 2020, over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, $5.1 billion of revenue was generated by Shopify stores in one weekend. So by now you're like, Giles, we get it. You like Shopify, you've banged on about it enough. Is it the correct choice for me? And from my perspective, yes. Truly, truly, yes. Of course, there are other softwares out there that offer similar services. Some of them even with cheaper fees, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're better in the long run as you scale. There's a ton of video hosting websites out there as well, but there's only one that has led to the discovery of some of my favorite music artists such as Justin Bieber and Carly Rae Jepsen. And there's only one that has created full-time careers for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of self-obsessed, annoying content creators just like me. While it isn't always a good idea in life to be some mindless sheep following the herd, when it comes to deciding where to build your online brand, I say cover me in wool, stick me in a field, and make me say bah! In fact, the only time I wouldn't recommend Shopify over all the other options out there is if you're making limited runs of handmade, artsy-craftsy stuff, in which case, until you hit a certain scale, Etsy is a really good place to start. It caters so well to that niche, and the ability for your creations to be discovered there through organic search is really strong. Even then, it's still not a bad idea to build up your presence on Shopify as your brand grows on Etsy. So now you know I'm a full-time Shopify fanboy, I'm gonna give you my take on the 5 main reasons why some people say you should avoid the platform. Number 1, the subscription is expensive. Whenever I see this, I question whether or not the person saying it actually had any intention of making money with their business. Of course, if you're just starting out, $29 a month can be a bit daunting, but really, you shouldn't be considering a business in e-commerce unless you already had a plan in place to generate revenue. People seem to be going about it in completely the wrong order, whereby they go, I want to make money online, and then they head to Shopify and they go, oh, $29 a month? I want to make money, not spend it on a subscription. How am I supposed to cover $29 a month? When really that monthly fee is going to seem pretty insignificant if you already had your plan and the confidence within it to know that it was going to generate revenue. You could literally have your stock in hand before you go and build your website. Thereby you already have the product that is going to generate the money to cover the monthly fee. Complaint number 2. Shopify has high fees. Granted, Shopify does have slightly higher processing fees than some other offerings out there. But once again, it does raise the thought of, do you actually plan on making money? Much like taxes in other areas of life, fees are pretty much unavoidable. Platforms like WooCommerce will boldly claim that they don't take any fees, but you still have to pay fees to the payment processors they use. Let's say your incredible brand idea could potentially generate £1 million worth of revenue. Shying away from whatever platform, whether it's Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, over 2% of fees is the equivalent of saying, no, I won't have the £978,000 because the nerds are going to take 22 grand of it. Give the nerds their hard-earned money for building these incredible platforms and get on with building your brand. Complaint number 3. Shopify doesn't host your email accounts. What I mean here is that some other commerce platforms will host an email address that is directly linked to your store. Shopify, however, only allows you to create an email address, but it won't actually host it for you. So while I could have an email address that was giles@myshopifyshop.com, I would have to forward all of those inbound emails to another email address. If you want to have a custom email address and have that whole thing hosted in one place, then you would need to set that up with someone like Google, which obviously can cost you a little extra each month. I've done this from the start and I never really thought about it. I never really thought it was that big of a deal. I'd rather Shopify focus on doing what they do best rather than catering to every need that I have online. Complaint number 4. The themes are expensive. To put this really simple, people have set up very legitimate stores using Shopify's debut theme and made millions and millions in revenue. While there are some incredible themes on the Shopify theme store, some of which, yes, could be considered expensive, if you're just starting out, you don't need 99% of the features that the expensive ones are gonna offer. When you do get to the stage where you do need those features, I would like to expect that you're making enough revenue that spending a couple £100 on a one-off charge to buy a new theme is not going to be the end of the world. Just because a theme is free or cheap does not mean it's not quality. It's still built on Shopify. It still has the exact same back-end features as the really expensive themes. The only thing that's going to hinder you in the early days is whether or not you put in the time to learn the platform, learn the system, learn how the whole thing works, and also whether or not your product offering, your marketing, and everything else that is customer facing for your brand is any good. Complaint number 5. There are too many expensive apps. The classic complaint about pricey apps, as if you're forced to commit to 20 apps charged monthly the moment you open your store. Like I said, if you have a good product and good marketing, you can do incredible things with Shopify without spending anything more than the monthly subscription. Oh, and the fees. Never forget about the extortionate fees. There are some incredible apps out there that can and will have hugely positive effects on your store. And yes, some of them could be considered expensive. But the thing to bear in mind is that Shopify merchants have a huge range when it comes to what they require from an app and how much they can afford to spend. You might have heard someone like Ezra Firestone on a podcast talking about a certain app that he loves. And you might have convinced yourself that that app sounds perfect for your store. But in actuality, it might be far more suited to his multi-product, $100 million a year brand than your one product, $100 a week startup. Try not to get shiny object syndrome when it comes to apps. At the end of the day, the developers making the apps, they are trying to sell them. And it's very easy to get suckered into the tiered pricing upsell and convince yourself that maybe you don't need the free version of the app and that the $10 a month one would help you out more and maybe you'd get more money that way. And in some cases, that can be true. But it's very easy to sign up for an app, commit to paying the monthly fee, and then realize that actually it isn't doing for you what it promised it would. And it doesn't necessarily mean the app is bad, it might just be that you're not implementing it correctly. It's very easy to do that across a number of apps at once, and suddenly your monthly bill is far more than you anticipated. So it is something to be aware of, but it is not a reason that you should turn away from Shopify. The thing to remember with most of the good apps out there is that they really only serve a few purposes in many different ways. They either make the experience better for your customer, make the experience better for you, or bring in more revenue. Ideally, a good app does all three. I personally run a number of apps for specific reasons, but those of which I pay for most of the time tick all of those boxes. In fact, one app alone consistently generates 20 to 30% of my store's revenue month on month, and I will talk about that very soon. In fact, in my next video, I'm going to be telling you my 6 favorite apps that I think can make all the difference in taking your store and turning it into a 6-figure brand. So there you have it. If you are serious about, and I mean serious about starting an e-commerce business and are prepared to put in the hours whilst learning along the way, because you do need to learn to progress, then Shopify is 100% the best platform for you. The thing to remember though is that you're still the one who has to have the ideas. You have to create the products, put in the work with the marketing, maintain the customer service, and everything else that comes along with running an online brand. Shopify will never directly make you money. You can't just pay the subscription, press a button and walk away. However, it is the best platform to allow you to make the money. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found value within this. And although I could run through the generic like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 the most important thing is if you know someone who might find value in these videos, please just share this channel with them, because that's all I really want to do, is just try and help other people who are trying to climb their tower of success. But as always, I'm still climbing my own tower. I'm still figuring it out, still making mistakes and still learning along the way. These are just my notes from the first floor, and I hope they help.